Hey everyone, we're 92 here with another episode of Mass Effect Preup, and today I'm going to be talking primarily about the husks and the enemies that we were facing in Mass Effect 3. But first of all, let me get the news out of the way, because there was a decent amount of news in the past month or so. Overall, the only real news that came out was the fact that the demo for Mass Effect 3 will be released in January. Now, I will be playing it, and I will give my overall opinion on it. I want to give a little prediction on it. I'm probably thinking the demo will be one of two things. The single player part of it, I think, will either be the modern mission that's been shown at E3, Gamescom and all that, but I personally don't think BioWare would do that. I personally, they've done the exact same way Mass Effect 2, they've done Thane's mission, but the demo was completely different. It was actually the start of the game, so I'm thinking that probably Mass Effect 3 demo in January will possibly be the start of the game, maybe the first hour, maybe the first 30 minutes of the game, and then maybe they'll do something similar what they've done with Dragon Age 2, the demo. They'll give you the start of the game, and then they'll give you a wee mission afterwards, just to give you a taste of what it's going to be like. As for the multiplayer, it's up in the air right now. All I can think is just going to be a quick taste of what the multiplayer will have, probably a couple of simple maps, probably very limited character creation, and overall, we'll have to wait and see in January. Now, you lucky bastards and bitches out there that buy it Battlefield 3, I didn't want to buy it because I hate Battlefield. I hate military games. I hate military I hate all these games like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Medal of Honor. I hate all those games. I can be honest right now. But you will get early access to the multiplayer, so if you happen to get early access to the multiplayer, please let me know, and let me know your opinion on it so I can share it with the class. So let's get to the main aspect of this video, the enemies and the husks in Mass Effect 3. Now, the enemies that we've seen so far in Mass Effect 3 have been basically your troopers, your Cerberus enemies, a couple of husks, including the cannibals. I will get to them in a minute, but what I talk about is the standard enemies, which probably will be the most common enemies that we will run into in Mass Effect 3, which will probably be the Cerberus troopers. By the looks of it, there are going to be multiple classes of these troopers, same as in Mass Effect 2, but they look more advanced. There's your standard trooper, which will be probably cover takers, which will be a pain in the ass, but then you've got ones with shields, sniper rifles, there'll be ones with tech armor most likely. There'll be a wide variety of humanoid and human, Asari, Batarian, Krogan. There'll be a wide variety of enemies, I think, as the standard troopers, which I'm really looking forward to see what they do. They have stated that this is going to be hard. The enemies are a lot more smarter than you think than the previous Mass Effect games. Mass Effect 1, they were kind of borderline suicidal. Mass Effect 2, they were fucking hard. And in Mass Effect 3, they're going to be nearly unstoppable by the looks of it. But we will proceed and we will kick some ass. So, now, I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these enemies. The thing that I'm really looking forward to the most, though, and let me just set this up, are the husks. Now, I'm actually going to do some. I'm actually going to put images of the husks on this video if I can, but what I want to talk about are some of the husks. Now, we've got the first husks that we all know and love, well, know and fear, are the humanoid husks, the human husks. The ones we ran into in the first mission in Mass Effect 1, Eden Prime. In Mass Effect 1, they were your standard zombies, basically, except for they had an EMP-like attack when they go close up against you. They weren't much of a major threat, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. They were a minor threat, but they weren't a major threat. You could easily take a good few dozen of them out without even taking a hit from them. But the thing is with the husks, on their own, they're like zombies. On their own, they're pretty much harmless. You can actually take one out fairly easily. A simple headshot will normally take it out. It's when they get in large groups that you need to worry. And in Mass Effect 2, they made this very, very clear on the Derelict Reaper, where there were hundreds of these fucking things, including abominations, advanced husks, if you will. Now, in Mass Effect 2, they got evolved. As I said, they got the abominations, which were the suicide ones, which basically, you need to throw them as far fucking away as possible. Knock them away. Get them the fuck away from you before they blow up. Or better yet, lure them into a large group of enemies and then shoot them and get their health down so they blow up. Those abominations were pricks. And then you had the dreaded, the most hated of all the husks in Mass Effect 2, the Scions. Don't get me started on the Scions. Those things were massive. They were you could see the pain that they were in. They weren't the humans that were forced into that. They were fucking 3, 4, 5 humans merged into one. And with a giant fucking cannon. Those things were a fucking pain in the ass. Especially on the collector ship. They are fucking annoying. But I'm not going to talk too much about the Husk that we know and love. I'm going to primarily talk about the newer Husks. As for what they look like in Mass Effect 3, they look exactly the same as they do from Mass Effect 1. A lot more detailed. You can actually see a lot of what used to be there. If you look at their eyes, you can see that the pain that they went through when they got transformed into Husks. Very much more detailed and very much more frightening looking, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. They scare the shit out of me right now, and I can imagine I'm going to jump at my fucking shit every now and then. So, the human Husks, not a major threat. They are, they don't have the EMP attack anymore from Mass Effect 1. They are primarily melee attackers, so in groups of 2 or 3 they're not too bad. It's when they get in larger groups that I'm going to be really concerned and very, very scared. Let's get to some of the newer Husks. Let's get to the cannibals. Now these Husks are Batarian Husks. They have confirmed this. They are multiple Batarians squished together with a giant fucking machine gun on their arms. And these things are terrifying. These are ugly motherfuckers, and Batarians were ugly before. These things are gruesome. You can see the pain and the detail, and the gun alone looks intimidating as hell. And these things will eat you. These things look like they eat you. They've got freaking human flesh and everything in their fucking mouths. Oh, ever since I saw the first image of them, they scared the shit out of me. They were horrible. They were terrifying. They are going to scare the shit out of me a lot in Mass Effect 3, I can guarantee that. But what I really love about these cannibals is you can see the amount of pain that they were in before they became Husks, which I really do love about that. You get to really see what happened to them. They were forced together, and they are downright creepy looking. They are one of the more intimidating Husks, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Ugh. They creep me out a lot more than they do the normal Husks. Now the Turian Husk is quite tricky. I do know that there was a Turian Husk in Evolution. I do have an image of it, hopefully it should be up by now. But then there's a lot of people are saying that Saren was a human Husk. Which was a Turian Husk, which I can believe. He did have the characteristics of a Turian, but also very Husk-like. But I don't think they'll actually go that route. I think they may go even further, because the Reapers will have experimented with the Husks, all the races Husk. And I did find a wee image. It's not coloured in or anything, but as you can see, it does have a Turian aspect. It's got the head. It's got some of the characteristics. It's very... There's no colour to it. I couldn't find a coloured one. If you can, please let me know. But it looks gory as hell. There's bones, the spinal cord is sticking out. It looks like all the tubes in that are leading to some kind of weapon on their hand. It's very grotesque and very painful looking. I must admit, of all the 2 Husks that I've seen so far, even the cannibals, this one, it looks like the Turians got the bad end of the stick. They got a lot done to them. I mean, their spines, they're literally like that. The spines out there, they look like their intestines, if they've got any, are sticking out. They're very, they look like the Turians got the worst end of the stick when it comes to getting turned into Husks. And as I say, Turians are formidable enough when they're standard enemies. I can't wait to see what they're going to be, how fucking badass they're going to be as Husks. I really do hope they show some gameplay with Husks, the Turian Husks, because they ones look fucking creepy as hell. For some reason, I can just imagine the screaming that you can hear from them. It does look like they're missing their jaw, though, from Saren's one, but they've got much more meat on their bones, if you will. And I must admit, they don't look too pleasant to deal with. I am very, very worried when I'm going to be versing Turian Husks. Yeah, that's not going to be fun. Now the final husk that I was able to find, I haven't found any Salarian husks, I haven't found any Elcor husks, Volus husks, I haven't found any of them. The final husk that I was able to find, if I can get to it, is the Asari husks, which are called Banshees. They were featured in the recent episode of BioWare Pulse, and they look badass. They look grotesque. They barely resemble Asari anymore. I mean, from what I can guess, this is just the concept art that I was able to get a hold of. They barely look Asari anymore. They've got female female parts to them, but you really can't see anything of an Asari in them anymore. It looks like the Reapers have literally stripped everything away from the Asari husks. The tendrils on the head, they're very devil-looking, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. They did show some gameplay with them, very briefly. The name Banshee, of course, signifies that they're going to be screaming. They're going to do a lot of damage with biotics, I can guarantee that right now, because the Asari alone with biotics are formidable enough. But these Banshees look downright horrible. Not in a bad way, I mean they look like they're meant to be like horrible, like you don't want to mess with them. And the thing that I like about these ones is there's nothing left of the Asari by the looks of it. I cannot see anything resembling the Asari. Their arms are longer, they look like they're taller than the average Asari. The tendrils, I can't really see, unfortunately the back one isn't too detailed, but from what I can gather from the front, the tendrils don't look like they've been extended, especially with the horns by the looks of it. These Banshees, they're not going to be easy enemies to take down, I can tell that right now, because Asari commandos were hard enough. I don't want to see what a Banshee's going to be fucking like. But I think, like, the Turian one, I'll give it that. That one looked like it was the most painful getting turned into. But the Asari one is just sad. Because there's nothing left of the Asari there. From what I can see, now this is just the concept art. They'll probably change it a bit. But it's difficult to say. They don't resemble Asari anymore. They are, for fuck's sake, they are basically a completely new race by the looks of it. And all I can say is you kind of feel sorry for the Asari a little bit more, in my opinion. Because you could see the Turian and the Turian Husk, you could see the Batarian and the Batarian Husk, you could see the human and the human Husk. But the Asari Husk, you can't see anything left. You cannot see any Asari characteristics left. No features look Asari. Not even the face. I wish I could zoom in on it, but they don't look Asari anymore. It looks like there's nothing left. So, let me know what you think of these ones. I really would like to get your opinion on them. Now, as for what one I think is going to be much more of a formidable opponent, I'm going to have to give the edge, possibly, to the Turian Husk, because it does look pretty fucking badass and gruesome. Now that's just the concept art as well, that's just like a 3D model. But it does look pretty badass, and again, I don't want to underestimate the Asari Husk, the Banshees. I do not want to underestimate the Banshees. So let me know what you think. What Husk do you like more? What Husk do you think is going to be a much more pain in the ass to take on? So, thanks for watching. As always, I'm Scottish Warrior 92, and I'll see you all later.